Welcome to Master Time Expressions for Writing Task 1 in IELTS. In this video, we'll dive into essential phrases and vocabulary to help you effectively describe timeframes in your writing. Whether you're discussing trends, changes, or comparisons over specific periods, mastering these expressions can elevate your responses and boost your score. Get ready to enhance your writing skills and leave a lasting impression on the examiner. Let's get started. Over the span of years or months. Referring to a period that covers several years or months. Over the span of 5 years, the company's revenue doubled. The population of the city grew significantly over the span of 2 decades. Technological advancements have progressed rapidly over the span of recent months. Throughout the duration of time period. Referring to something that happens continuously over a specified period. Throughout the duration of the project, the team maintained high productivity. Sales figures remained stable throughout the duration of the summer season. The museum hosted various exhibitions throughout the duration of the year. Between the years, year, and year. Referring to a specific period framed by 2 years. Between the years 2000 and 2010, the city underwent major infrastructural changes. The data shows an increase in literacy rates between the years 1995 and 2005. Employment opportunities rose significantly between the years 2015 and 2020. From start year or month to end year or month. Referring to a specific period framed by a start and end year/month. From January to December, the company recorded steady growth. From 2010 to 2020, significant environmental policies were implemented. From spring to autumn, tourist numbers in the region saw a notable increase. In the initial or final quarter of year. Referring to the first or last 3 months of a specific year. In the initial quarter of 2021, the economy showed signs of recovery. In the final quarter of 2019, the company launched its most successful product. Sales peaked in the initial quarter of the year, driven by festive season demand. Over the subsequent years or months. Referring to a time period following a certain event or point. Over the subsequent months, the policy changes began to show positive effects. The company's market share grew steadily over the subsequent years. Pollution levels have decreased over the subsequent months due to new regulations. During the corresponding period. Referring to the same period in another year or context. During the corresponding period last year, the weather was notably milder. The company's revenue increased during the corresponding period of the previous financial year. Crime rates remained unchanged during the corresponding period across different regions. Throughout the observed period. Referring to the entire length of time that was monitored or studied. Throughout the observed period, there was a consistent increase in the use of renewable energy sources. The population grew steadily throughout the observed period, despite economic fluctuations. Traffic congestion remained high throughout the observed period, impacting commute times. During the specified time frame. Referring to a particular period of time that has been defined. During the specified time frame, the company reported significant growth in revenue. The research was conducted during the specified timeframe to ensure accurate results. Sales figures peaked during the specified timeframe, aligning with the holiday season. Within the timeframe of years or months. Indicating a specific range of time, either years or months. Within the timeframe of 3 months, the project was completed successfully. The population increased significantly within the timeframe of 5 years. Pollution levels decreased within the timeframe of 6 months, following new regulations. In the preceding or following years or months. referring to the time before or after a particular event or period. In the preceding years, the economy showed signs of instability. The company's profits increased in the following months after the new product launch. Unemployment rates dropped in the preceding months due to effective government policies. During the course of year or month, referring to an event or situation that happened within a specific year or month. During the course of the year, various environmental initiatives were implemented. Sales declined during the course of the month due to market fluctuations. The new policy was introduced during the course of the fiscal year. Across the timeline of years or months, indicating a continuous period stretching over specified years or months. Across the timeline of 10 years, technological advancements have revolutionized communication. The city's infrastructure has improved significantly across the timeline of 5 years. Environmental awareness has increased across the timeline of recent months. In the first or second half of year, referring to either the initial or latter part of a specific year. In the first half of the year, the company saw a substantial increase in sales. Tourism numbers surged in the second half of the year, aligning with the peak travel season. The economic growth was stronger in the first half of the year compared to the second half. Over the entirety of time period, referring to the whole duration of a particular period. Over the entirety of the study period, data was collected consistently to ensure accuracy. The project faced numerous challenges over the entirety of its timeline but was ultimately successful. The company maintained high productivity over the entirety of the fiscal year. Over a period of years or months. Referring to a span of several years or months. Over a period of 5 years, the population of the city doubled. The new policy was developed and refined over a period of 6 months. Technological advancements have accelerated over a period of recent years. During the interval between year and year. Referring to the specific time frame bracketed by 2 years. During the interval between 2005 and 2010, significant economic reforms were implemented. The data was collected during the interval between January and March for accuracy. The project's milestones were achieved during the interval between 2017 and 2019. In the years following event or year. Referring to the time period after a specific event or year. In the years following the 2008 financial crisis, the global economy slowly recovered. In the years following her graduation, she traveled extensively to gain international experience. In the years following the reform, the education system saw significant improvements. In the preceding decade or century. Referring to the time period before a specific decade or century. In the preceding decade, technological advancements revolutionized communication. In the preceding century, major political changes reshaped the global landscape. In the preceding decade, the company focused on expanding its international presence. Through the early or mid or late decade or century. Indicating different parts of a specified decade or century. Through the early 2000s, the Internet became widely accessible to the public. Through the mid-19th century, industrialization accelerated across Europe and North America. Through the late 1990s, mobile phones transitioned from luxury items to essential devices. Over the last or past years or months. Referring to the most recent years or months. Over the last 5 years, the number of electric vehicles on the road has increased dramatically. Over the past few months, remote work has become the norm for many companies. Over the last decade, renewable energy sources have gained significant traction globally. At the outset of year or decade. Referring to the beginning of a specific year or decade. At the outset of the 21st century, digital technology began to permeate everyday life. At the outset of the 2020s, the world faced unprecedented challenges due to the pandemic. At the outset of 2010, the company launched its most ambitious project to date. In the subsequent years or months, referring to the time period following a specific point in time. In the subsequent years, the policy changes began to yield positive results. In the subsequent months, the project team worked diligently to meet the deadline. In the subsequent years, the population of the city doubled due to migration. In the preceding years or months, referring to the time period before a specific point in time. In the preceding years, the company had struggled to maintain profitability. In the preceding months, preparations for the event were in full swing. In the preceding years, the research team had made significant breakthroughs. Over the duration of event, referring to the entire length of a specific event. Over the duration of the conference, experts discussed the latest developments in the field. Over the duration of the festival, various cultural performances were showcased. Over the duration of the training program, participants gained valuable skills and knowledge. In the time span of years or months, indicating a specific range of time, either years or months. In the time span of 6 months, the startup gained significant market traction. In the time span of 5 years, the project was completed ahead of schedule and under budget. In the time span of 2 years, the artist produced some of her most acclaimed work. Within the span of years or months, referring to a specified range of years or months. Within the span of 3 years, the new policy was fully implemented across the country. Within the span of 6 months, the team developed a prototype of the new device. Throughout the entirety of time period, referring to the entire length of a specified period. Throughout the entirety of the decade, technological advancements have transformed everyday life. The festival was celebrated with great enthusiasm throughout the entirety of the month. Economic policies were consistently applied throughout the entirety of the administration's term. In the interval of years or months, referring to the specific duration between 2 points in time. In the interval of 5 years, the city's population doubled. Employment rates improved significantly in the interval of 6 months following the policy change. The company expanded its operations globally in the interval of 2 years. Across the span of years or months, indicating a continuous period stretching over specific years or months. Across the span of 10 years, the city's infrastructure improved remarkably. Environmental awareness increased significantly across the span of recent months. Technology evolved rapidly across the span of 3 decades. During the interim period of time period, referring to a temporary or transitional period within a larger time frame. During the interim period of 6 months, the project was overseen by a temporary manager. The company experienced rapid growth during the interim period of the new product launch. Policies were reviewed and revised during the interim period of the administration's transition. On the cusp of year or decade, referring to the transitional point between 2 periods. On the cusp of the 21st century, digital technology began to dominate. The company launched a groundbreaking product on the cusp of the new decade. The city experienced significant growth on the cusp of the 1980s. In the aftermath of event, referring to the period following a specific event. In the aftermath of the financial crisis, stringent regulations were implemented. The community came together to rebuild in the aftermath of the natural disaster. Economic policies were re-evaluated in the aftermath of the recession. During the era of specific time period. Referring to a significant historical period. During the era of the Renaissance, art and science flourished. The Industrial Revolution marked significant changes during the era of the 18th and 19th centuries. Rapid technological advancements occurred during the era of the late 20th century. In the lead-up to event or year. Referring to the period preceding a specific event or year. In the lead-up to the election, political campaigns intensified. The company prepared meticulously in the lead-up to the product launch. Tensions heightened in the lead-up to the international summit. Over a span of decades or centuries. Referring to a long duration, either multiple decades or centuries. Cultural traditions have been preserved over a span of centuries. The city's skyline transformed dramatically over a span of decades. Climate patterns have changed noticeably over a span of centuries. In the subsequent decades. Referring to the time period following a specified point, particularly many years ahead. In the subsequent decades, renewable energy sources will likely dominate. The population is expected to continue growing in the subsequent decades. Scientific breakthroughs are anticipated to accelerate in the subsequent decades. During the period under review. Referring to the specific time frame being analyzed or evaluated. During the period under review, the company's sales figures showed a steady increase. Employment rates improved significantly during the period under review. The city's infrastructure development progressed rapidly during the period under review. In the context of specific event or time. Referring to considering the circumstances or setting of a particular event or time. In the context of the 2008 financial crisis, the government's response was swift and decisive. In the context of global warming, the need for sustainable energy solutions is paramount. In the context of technological advancements, traditional industries have had to adapt quickly. In the immediate aftermath of event. Referring to the period right after a specific event. In the immediate aftermath of the earthquake, emergency services were deployed to assist affected areas. In the immediate aftermath of the merger, the company's stock prices fluctuated. In the immediate aftermath of the announcement, public reaction was mixed. During the entire duration of event or period. Referring to the whole length of a specific event or period. During the entire duration of the project, the team maintained high levels of productivity. The festival was celebrated with great enthusiasm during the entire duration of the month. The policy remained unchanged during the entire duration of the administration's term. In the period following event or year. Referring to the time after a specific event or year. In the period following the policy change, business operations saw significant improvements. In the period following the introduction of the new technology, production efficiency increased. In the period following the financial crisis, economic recovery was slow but steady. Within the context of time period. Referring to considering the circumstances or setting of a particular time period. Within the context of the late 20th century, globalization had a profound impact on international trade. Within the context of the digital age, information spreads rapidly and widely. Within the context of the 21st century, social media has become a powerful communication tool. In the run-up to event or year. Referring to the period preceding a specific event or year. In the run-up to the election, political campaigns intensified across the country. In the run-up to the product launch, the marketing team worked tirelessly to create buzz. In the run-up to the holiday season, retailers see a significant increase in sales. In the period leading up to event or year. referring to the time before a specific event or year. In the period leading up to the exam, students devoted extra time to studying. In the period leading up to the conference, preparations were in full swing. In the period leading up to the new year, businesses set their annual goals and objectives. In the timeline from year to year, referring to a continuous period framed by two specific years. In the timeline from 2010 to 2020, the city underwent significant urban development. In the timeline from January to December, the company recorded steady growth. In the timeline from 2005 to 2015, technological advancements revolutionized various industries. Over the interval of years or months, referring to a specific duration between 2 points in time. Over the interval of 5 years, the city's population doubled. Employment rates improved significantly over the interval of 6 months following the policy change. The company expanded its operations globally over the interval of 2 years. Within the confines of time period, referring to the specific limits or boundaries of a certain period. Within the confines of the fiscal year, the company achieved remarkable growth. All activities were conducted within the confines of the academic semester. Budget constraints were managed effectively within the confines of the project timeline. During the tenure of specific period, referring to the entire duration of a specific period. During the tenure of his leadership, the organization saw unprecedented success. Major policy changes were implemented during the tenure of the government. The university received numerous accolades during the tenure of the president. In the aftermath period of event, referring to the time immediately following a significant event. In the aftermath period of the natural disaster, relief efforts were intensified. Economic recovery initiatives were launched in the aftermath period of the recession. Social reforms were prioritized in the aftermath period of the revolution. Over the following decades or centuries, referring to the time extending beyond a specific point into the future. Over the following decades, technological innovations continued to reshape industries. Cultural traditions evolved over the following centuries, influenced by globalization. Scientific research advanced rapidly over the following decades, leading to major breakthroughs. Throughout the time frame of years, referring to the entire duration of a specified number of years. Throughout the time frame of 5 years, the Community Garden Initiative flourished. Economic stability was maintained throughout the time frame of the governor's term. Educational standards improved significantly throughout the time frame of the reform implementation. In the period corresponding to event, referring to the same duration related to a particular event. In the period corresponding to the festival, tourism numbers peaked. Employment rates surged in the period corresponding to the holiday season. Productivity levels increased in the period corresponding to the project deadline. Amid the specific time frame, referring to something happening in the midst of a specified period. Amid the specific time frame of the economic downturn, new strategies were adopted. Amid the specific time frame of the academic year, various extracurricular activities took place. Amid the specific time frame of the election campaign, political debates intensified. In the preceding intervals, referring to time periods occurring before a specific event or period. Economic growth was slow in the preceding intervals before the policy change. The project faced several challenges in the preceding intervals, but they were eventually overcome. Consumer confidence fluctuated in the preceding intervals, impacting market stability. During the interval spanning years or months, referring to a duration that covers several years or months. During the interval spanning 2 years, the company expanded its operations internationally. Research was conducted thoroughly during the interval spanning 6 months. The initiative was launched successfully during the interval spanning 1 year. Throughout the entire span of years or months. Referring to the complete duration of a specified number of years or months. Throughout the entire span of 3 years, the team maintained high levels of performance. Policies remained consistent throughout the entire span of the administration's term. Infrastructure developments progressed steadily throughout the entire span of 5 years. In the wake of event or year. Referring to the period immediately following a specific event or year. In the wake of the 2008 financial crisis, regulatory measures were strengthened globally. In the wake of her graduation, she pursued a career in international relations. In the wake of the environmental disaster, new policies were implemented to prevent recurrence. In the intervening period. Referring to the time between 2 events or points in time. The project was paused for several months, but in the intervening period, research continued behind the scenes. Economic stability was maintained in the intervening period between the 2 financial quarters. In the intervening period, technological advancements significantly improved operational efficiency. Over the course of years or months. Referring to a duration that spans multiple years or months. Over the course of 5 years, the population of the city increased by 20%. The study was conducted over the course of 6 months, yielding valuable insights. Over the course of the decade, renewable energy adoption has grown exponentially. In the successive years or months. Referring to the time following a specific event, highlighting continuous progression. In the successive years, the company expanded its operations into new international markets. The policy reforms showed positive results in the successive months following their implementation. In the successive years after the project launch, significant milestones were achieved. In the midst of time period. Referring to the central or middle part of a specific period. In the midst of the pandemic, many businesses adapted to remote working. The city underwent major infrastructure improvements in the midst of the decade. In the midst of the economic downturn, innovative solutions emerged to address the challenges. During the transitional phase of event or year. Referring to the period of change between 2 states or conditions. During the transitional phase of the company's merger, employee roles were redefined. The educational system was overhauled during the transitional phase of the new policy implementation. During the transitional phase of the technological upgrade, training programs were conducted for staff. At the crest of time period. Referring to the peak or highest point of a specific period. At the crest of the summer, tourist numbers peaked, boosting the local economy. The company's stock prices reached their highest at the crest of the financial quarter. At the crest of the industrial era, manufacturing processes were revolutionized. Throughout the latter half of years or months. Referring to the second part or final period of a specified duration. Throughout the latter half of the year, sales figures steadily increased. The research was intensive throughout the latter half of the project timeline. Environmental initiatives gained momentum throughout the latter half of the decade. In the years or months succeeding event. Referring to the period following a specific event, highlighting subsequent development. In the years succeeding the policy change, economic growth was sustained. The city saw a demographic shift in the months succeeding the infrastructure development. In the months succeeding the product launch, customer feedback was overwhelmingly positive. On the threshold of year or decade. Referring to the point of entering a new year or decade. On the threshold of the 2020s, digital transformation accelerated across industries. The company was on the threshold of its most successful year yet. On the threshold of the new millennium, global communication was revolutionized by the Internet. Within the epoch of specific time period, referring to a significant period in history marked by particular events or developments. Within the epoch of the Renaissance, art and science flourished. Significant technological advancements were made within the epoch of the late 20th century. Environmental awareness grew substantially within the epoch of the Industrial Revolution. During the phase spanning years or months, referring to a period that extends over a specified number of years or months. During the phase spanning 2 years, the project underwent several key transformations. The city experienced rapid growth during the phase spanning 6 months of new policy implementation. Research efforts intensified during the phase spanning 3 years, leading to groundbreaking discoveries. In the contiguous period of years or months, referring to a continuous, unbroken span of time. In the contiguous period of 10 years, the city's population grew steadily. The company's revenue increased significantly in the contiguous period of 12 months. Economic policies remained consistent in the contiguous period of 5 years. During the era spanning years, referring to a significant period of time covering multiple years. During the era spanning the 1980s and 1990s, technological advancements transformed industries. Artistic expression flourished during the era spanning the Renaissance. Globalization accelerated during the era spanning the late 20th and early 21st centuries. In the aftermath phase, referring to the period immediately following a significant event. In the aftermath phase of the earthquake, reconstruction efforts were prioritized. The community rallied together in the aftermath phase of the natural disaster. Economic recovery initiatives were crucial in the aftermath phase of the recession. Throughout the period following event, referring to the entire duration following a specific event. Throughout the period following the policy change, business operations improved significantly. Public sentiment shifted positively throughout the period following the government's announcement. Technological adoption increased steadily throughout the period following the product launch. During the interval of specific time frame, referring to a specific duration within a larger period. Employment rates fluctuated during the interval of the summer season. Consumer spending increased during the interval of the holiday season. The research was conducted meticulously during the interval of the academic year. At the peak of year or period, referring to the highest or most intense point of a specific period. At the peak of the tourist season, the city saw a significant influx of visitors. The company's stock prices reached their highest at the peak of the financial quarter. Energy consumption surged at the peak of the winter season. In the continuous span of years or months, referring to an uninterrupted period extending over specified years or months. In the continuous span of 5 years, the project maintained steady progress. The population grew consistently in the continuous span of 2 decades. Sales figures increased steadily in the continuous span of 12 months. During the epoch of specific event or period, referring to a distinct period marked by specific events or developments. During the epoch of the Industrial Revolution, manufacturing processes were transformed. Artistic innovation thrived during the epoch of the Renaissance. Significant cultural changes occurred during the epoch of the 1960s. In the designated period of years or months, referring to a specific and defined span of time. In the designated period of 2 years, the infrastructure project was completed. The budget was allocated and utilized effectively in the designated period of 12 months. Research findings were published in the designated period of the academic year. At the turn of the century or decade. Referring to the transition point between centuries or decades. At the turn of the 21st century, digital technology began to permeate everyday life. The city experienced rapid growth at the turn of the 1980s. Global communication was revolutionized by the Internet at the turn of the millennium. Over the transitional period of years or months. Referring to a period of change extending over specified years or months. Over the transitional period of 5 years, the company restructured its operations. The educational system underwent significant changes over the transitional period of the last decade. Policy reforms were gradually implemented over the transitional period of 2 years. Throughout the subsequent interval, the company's market share continued to grow. Public health initiatives were expanded throughout the subsequent interval following the outbreak. Environmental conservation efforts increased throughout the subsequent interval. Within the defined timeframe of years or months. Referring to a specific, clearly established span of time. Within the defined timeframe of 6 months, the project milestones were achieved. The policy changes were fully implemented within the defined timeframe of 1 year. The company's strategic goals were met within the defined timeframe of 5 years. During the successive phase of time period. Referring to the following stage or period after a previous one. During the successive phase of the project, new technologies were integrated. Economic growth accelerated during the successive phase following the initial recovery. The company's expansion strategy was executed during the successive phase of development. At the dawn of year or period. Referring to the beginning of a specific year or period. At the dawn of the 21st century, new technological innovations emerged. The organization undertook major reforms at the dawn of the new fiscal year. Cultural movements gained momentum at the dawn of the 1960s. During the interim phase of years. Referring to a temporary period between 2 stages. During the interim phase of the leadership transition, interim policies were enacted. The company operated under temporary management during the interim phase of the merger. Research continued during the interim phase between project stages. In the era succeeding event or year. Referring to the period following a significant event or year, highlighting subsequent developments. In the era succeeding the 2008 financial crisis, regulatory frameworks were strengthened. Technological advancements accelerated in the era succeeding the digital revolution. Environmental policies became more stringent in the era succeeding the climate summit. Over the continuum of years or months. Referring to a continuous and unbroken span of time. Over the continuum of 10 years, the city's population experienced steady growth. The company's profits increased gradually over the continuum of 5 years. Environmental policies evolved significantly over the continuum of 2 decades. In the consecutive years or months. Referring to successive years or months following one another. In the consecutive years following the merger, the company achieved remarkable growth. The city saw a decline in crime rates in the consecutive months after implementing the new law. Sales figures have risen in the consecutive quarters due to strategic marketing initiatives. Within the chronological span of years or months. Referring to a period that follows a sequential order of years or months. Within the chronological span of 6 months, the research team made groundbreaking discoveries. The policy changes were implemented within the chronological span of 2 years. Cultural transformations occurred within the chronological span of 3 decades. Over the long-term period of years or months. Referring to a lengthy duration extending over several years or months. Over the long-term period of 5 years, the company's strategic initiatives bore fruit. Environmental conservation efforts must be sustained over the long-term period to be effective. Technological advancements have been significant over the long-term period of 2 decades. During the extended interval of years or months. Referring to a prolonged duration extending beyond the usual time frame. During the extended interval of 12 months, the project faced multiple challenges. Research was conducted thoroughly during the extended interval of 3 years. The policy remained effective during the extended interval of the administration's term. Throughout the entire duration of years or months. Referring to the whole length of a specific period. Throughout the entire duration of the academic year, students engaged in various extracurricular activities. Economic stability was maintained throughout the entire duration of the governor's term. The company achieved consistent growth throughout the entire duration of the fiscal year. In the phase subsequent to event. Referring to the period following a specific event, highlighting subsequent developments. In the phase subsequent to the product launch, customer feedback was overwhelmingly positive. Economic growth accelerated in the phase subsequent to the financial reforms. Public health initiatives were expanded in the phase subsequent to the outbreak. During the full course of years or months. Referring to the complete span of a specified number of years or months. During the full course of the project, the team maintained high levels of productivity. The policy was reviewed and revised during the full course of the legislative session. The city's infrastructure development progressed steadily during the full course of 5 years. Within the sequential timeframe of years or months. Referring to a period following a specific order or sequence. Within the sequential timeframe of 2 years, the company achieved its strategic goals. Environmental initiatives were implemented successfully within the sequential timeframe of 6 months. The project milestones were achieved within the sequential timeframe of 1 year. At the height of year or period. Referring to the peak or highest point of a specific period. At the height of the tourist season, the city saw a significant influx of visitors. The company's stock prices reached their highest at the height of the financial quarter. Energy consumption surged at the height of the winter season. In the stretch of years or months. Referring to a continuous period of specified years or months. In the stretch of 3 years, the population of the city increased by 20%. The company's profits rose steadily in the stretch of 12 months. The policy remained effective in the stretch of the administration's term. Across the transitional span of years or months. Referring to a period of change extending over specified years or months. Across the transitional span of 5 years, the company restructured its operations. The educational system underwent significant changes across the transitional span of the last decade. Policy reforms were gradually implemented across the transitional span of 2 years. Over the designated duration of years or months. Referring to a specific and clearly established span of time. Over the designated duration of 12 months, the infrastructure project was completed. The budget was allocated and utilized effectively over the designated duration of the fiscal year. Research findings were published over the designated duration of the academic term. During the epoch following event or year. Referring to the period following a significant event or year, highlighting subsequent developments. During the epoch following the digital revolution, technological advancements accelerated. Environmental policies became more stringent during the epoch following the climate summit. Economic recovery initiatives were crucial during the epoch following the financial crisis.